nature, things of that 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 nature.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Pot of That Nature post-game show following Arkansas's 35-14 win over Louisiana Tech in Fayetteville. I'm Curtis Wilkerson, joined by Andrew Ellis of Inside Arkansas. I see that people are very excited to get into this as I look over to our chat, and 2/3 of them are about Layden Blocker's stat line for DePaul tonight. But at any rate, Arkansas wins. And I just want to get this out of the way off the top, Andrew. Just want to do this. I am happy that Arkansas won this football game. I am happy that they have clinched bowl eligibility. Why am I happy? One, a win is a hell of a lot better than a loss. No matter what the circumstances are, you always prefer to win over losing. Two, I'm pumped for the players, man, because these dudes, they do work very, very hard. This is a goal that they set for themselves. It is a goal that they achieved, whether they went about it the way we hoped they would or not. They did do that. And for some of these guys, man, they live football. Like, that's their identity. It's what they know. It's all they've known. And this gives them the opportunity to play another game. It extends their season. And for some of them, like it kind of extends football before reality sets in. You got to go work in an office or something like that. So very, very happy for those dudes. It is an accomplishment. Good for them. But buddy, this was like this is like playing the greatest hits of the Sam Pitman era, because I mean, like, mark them off, brother. Like, you played down to the competition again, right? You came out for a home game and you weren't prepared to play again. Multiple turnovers again, penalty killing drives again, a Scott Fountain disaster class again. I mean, it was just like one thing after another. But at the end of the day, Louisiana Tech sucks. One. Arkansas's defense was pretty good. Taylor Green was more athletic than anybody on the field. They win 35-14, 6 wins. And it's not only does it clinch bowl eligibility, it clinches another year of the Sam Pitman era, but it does it in a way that's not going to inspire a lot of confidence moving forward, at least for another week.
Well, listen, until we get to statement, Curtis, I don't know if it's officially clinched it yet. We'll have to see what the statement looks like. But I think I do believe you are probably right. And, Curtis, in a weird way, this game kind of reminds me of last week's game where things kind of went according to plan. Maybe not exactly how we drew it up in our heads, but by the end of it, you're looking back and you're like, okay, Arkansas was a 14-point underdog against Texas. They lose by 10. Or whatever, 12, whatever it was. You were 23-point favorite in this game. You win by 21. It went according to plan. So there's nothing we can really be outraged about. There are things we are going to discuss and things we'll nitpick because that's what we do. But there's nothing that I'm going to come here and be like, can y'all believe what we just saw? But I'm also, again, ain't no victory parade going on. We're not firing off the cannons over here. It was just what Arkansas needed to do. This is one that all summer long, you looked ahead and you said, okay, well, they'll win that game. That'll be the game that gets them bowl eligible. We kind of thought that in the preseason. It turned out to be the case, and you didn't slip on the banana peel. And there is something to be said about it, and we have said it. But as for the game itself, again, not one that's going to win over any negators. That's not going to shut any haters up. And I wouldn't say it's going to fire up even the most optimistic fans, but it's also not one that's going to concern. It's not going to anyone who thinks Sam Pittman is the greatest coach ever and things are great for Arkansas. They're not concerned after that game either. So it kind of works both ways. It is simply a sporting event that happened and it is over. And as some have pointed out, Arkansas is on to the shelter insurance battle line rivalry.
That's right. And shout out to Layden Blocker for his 21 points today, which I don't know why, but there's I just looked over at the chat as our intro was playing. And I saw 4 different messages in the chat about it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool. Good for him. But yeah, man, on to Missouri. And honestly, the hell with Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz. Arkansas needs to go win that game. Just please, for the love of God, do that. Go beat those dudes this time. That would be fun. That would be cool. That start to this game, and we could talk about it. My God, man, just, 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Rodney Hill, by the way, called back, right? Taylor Green running 15 yards backwards and killing a drive there. Okay. He throws an interception. They get beat on a fake field goal. It was just one thing after another. Luckily, fortunately, Louisiana Tech couldn't take advantage. But that first quarter, outside of the defensive effort, Arkansas did not look prepared top to bottom. And it was just like, here we go again, man. No score after the end of the first quarter. Arkansas eventually figured some things out offensively. They figured out a couple things. One, they figured out they were just more athletic and they could probably score some points offensively. Two, they could afford to take some risk because it became very clear pretty quickly, I thought, that Louisiana Tech could not, if Arkansas didn't want them to gain a yard, they wouldn't gain a yard of offense. And that's kind of where we were at.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you laid out all those things that went wrong for Arkansas in the first quarter, it's actually kind of crazy that Arkansas ended up with 233 rushing yards.
Unreal.
They were in the negative after the first quarter. I mean, every time they handed the ball off, Tech was in the backfield. And again, that's kind of what we had been told about this Louisiana Tech defense was that, hey, despite their record, despite the fact that it's not a great team, defense is pretty solid. And you saw that in the first quarter. But the fact that you mentioned the Taylor Green interception, which I believe started a drive at like the 35 of Arkansas or something like that, maybe even closer, and you end up getting all the way down to the 5-yard line after that fake field goal that you mentioned, and that Missouri, I mean, that Louisiana Tech wasn't able to come away with even a 3-0 lead. The fact that they didn't capitalize on that kind of early momentum even a little bit, you almost kind of felt like that took the wind out of their sails, and you could tell at that point Arkansas is not threatened by this team at all. You didn't give Arkansas a reason to get nervous because look, we all kind of joked of like, oh, hey, what if they blow it in this game? I feel like if Louisiana Tech had really come out and punched them in the mouth, we would have kind of seen something. It could have been a very different game. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm just saying, like, Arkansas was never really faced true adversity. They had some self-inflicted wounds, but Louisiana Tech, again, never really made them pay for those and allowed Arkansas to settle into this game. I mean, with Taylor Green, man, you just got to give him 12 throws before he settles in, and then he's fine. And then he turns into Matt Jones. But yeah, it was rough early. Curtis, I got to be honest with you. Once again, I kind of had a thought where I was like, they might go to Singleton. I had that thought last week, right before they put together their lone touchdown drive against Texas. Dude. And right before they put down their first touchdown drive of this game, I was kind of like, they have to do something. Like they're not even because Taylor was really like egregiously horrible. But again, we use that word spark. It felt like Arkansas's offense needed that spark. They finally got things going and played fairly well down the stretch there. And Taylor himself made some nice plays. But there was definitely a moment where I was like, man, they really are going to end up having to make a move.
I was getting ready to send the tweet early in the second quarter. Like I had it ready and then I deleted it and then I typed it out again and then I stopped. I should probably stop being a little B word about it and just send it, like have some hair on my chest and just send the tweet, bro. But I didn't do that. And I'm glad that he, kind of wound up figuring it out there. But my gosh, and it was just, he just wasn't dialed in. He wasn't ready to play. And it was kind of a microcosm, like the offensive line was not ready to play. Nobody offensively or in that special teams unit was ready to play for this game. It was just like it was just on repeat of some of the things that we've seen over and over and over with this team against lesser competition on their home field, which is really annoying, honestly. But yeah, he did wind up making some plays. Still, like you look at the end of the game and 20 of 37, so it's just not overly accurate. 221 yards. Okay, whatever. A couple touchdowns there and an interception. Were both of his touchdowns to Tesla?
Yeah, the only 2 Tesla targets of the day, I believe.
That's okay. Yeah, so there you go.
On senior day. Tesla, by the way, had like 30 people show up for him on senior day. Like when they were doing the whole hand out the gift basket thing, there was like 30 dudes in his corner. I thought that was cool.
Right. But yeah, man, Green, just, some questionable decisions again, missed some open guys again, held on to the ball too long again. Like I understand all that. Listen, everybody knows how I feel about Maddox Lassiter. That's my guy, right? He should have had 2 touchdowns in this game. He had 0. Okay. And one ball didn't even get thrown to him. Mm-hmm. So it's, a little bit irritating. I understand that. But I still had a lot of people, Andrew, in my mentions on Twitter, even in the second half, saying, is it time yet? Or can we get Singleton in there? What are we doing? Yeah. And I just kept having to reply to people saying, listen, I hear you. I understand. I sympathize with what you're going through, but they are not going to pull the starting quarterback in the second half of a game in which they're winning by multiple scores unless he is the reason why they are no longer winning by multiple scores. And they just weren't going to do it.
Well, I mean, like, look, we both talked about how we had that thought of like, will they make a move?
Mhm.
Once they settled in and took the lead,
Exactly.
it became kind of clear that it wasn't, it wasn't the right time. There was definitely a time where you could have that conversation, but once they kind of got things going, it is what it is. And look, like, I don't know how I see some people in the chat got confused. They thought that was like a ringing endorsement of Taylor Green. I don't know
not.
where they heard that.
It
I don't
was
know if
not.
we even said anything positive about him in any way, shape, or form. But again, people just kind of want to be upset. But
I just thought he was more athletic than Louisiana Tech. Like he was able to make those plays with his legs, and that was pretty much it.
Well, and again, like this Arkansas offense, we've talked about it a lot. How this, they're all their yardage. You see them top 10, top 20 in the country, whatever in yardage. It pretty much all came against bad teams, and Talen's rushing has really shown up against bad teams. Like pretty much like 90% of his rushing total for the year came against UAB, Oklahoma State, UAPB, and then in this game he adds whatever. This is like the most rushing yards he had in like the last 6 weeks combined. It was good. He did seem healthy for the most part. And hey, how about Rashad Dubinion turning into Barry Sanders there down the stretch?
Okay, yeah.
Huge 100-yard outing from Rashad Dubinion, which I frankly just did not expect to see, especially after the way things started off. But yeah, I felt like Arkansas, Louisiana Tech kind of had their early surge. I don't even know if you can call it a surge because they didn't score any points there, where they were really hanging tight. It felt like Louisiana Tech, once they kind of realized they blew their moment and Arkansas put they had those 2 back-to-back touchdowns to close out the first half. I think that you could tell it kind of wore them down physically and mentally. And Arkansas was really able to kind of lean on them down the stretch. Did still look a little hairy there whenever they made it a 14-point game, but you could kind of tell that Arkansas knew they had them at an arm's length for the rest of it.
Yeah, for sure. When Louisiana Tech didn't score after converting on that fake field goal attempt, you kind of knew what was going on there. And I think their coach, Cumbie, knew as well, because all of a sudden he's like punting from the Arkansas 35-yard line. And like, it was weird, man, because like they were doing some of those fakes and maybe they just knew they could have Scott Fountain's number, and yeah, credit to them. That's a brilliant deduction. But like they were doing some of those things aggressively. But then for a majority of the game, it was almost like he's playing conservatively, like not trying to actively win the game by scoring points, which was a choice to me, because I'm like, brother, you guys are on the 35-yard line. What the hell makes you think you're going to get any closer than that on another possession? Like, I mean, I don't understand.
Right.
Which was an interesting choice on their part. Arkansas was able to take advantage of it. You mentioned Rashad Dubinion. Yes, I want to make sure we give the players who did well their flowers. 112 yards in this game, 7.5 per carry. But damn it, people were sniping touchdowns from the man. Like he did all the damage there late, and then Jaquindon Jackson got the touchdown for it. Taylor Green had a couple rushing touchdowns. I would have liked to see Dubinion get in the end zone there. Andrew Armstrong, shout out to him, fifth pass catcher in Arkansas program history to get to 1,000 yards.
He's the first to do it with only 1 touchdown somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Like get him the ball. Like I'm happy for Tesla, but come on, man, like get our boy a touchdown. Really cool to see that for him. There are individuals on this team that you're really happy to see some success for. I haven't even looked at the defensive stats. I'm sure they had some guys who showed out. I know Landon Jackson popped there late. So that was all good. We got to talk about special teams for a second, though. We before we even started, I was like, we got to have like a mini segment about everything that went on here. It was, the generationally bad.
Can I tell you my side of the special team story, Curtis?
I would love that.
So look, one of my favorite things to do, as a person who interacts with the Arkansas fan base daily, I like to troll a little bit. Whenever I know Arkansas fans hate a person, I'm like for instance, Tyrone Broden. Mm-hmm. Every time Tyrone Broden catches a pass or even like breathes the right way, I'm like, yo, shout out to Tyrone Broden. Y'all still hating now? And people always get mad about it. And it's always hilarious. I do that with Nate Thompson a lot during baseball season. I literally, Curtis, was sitting there in row 6 today because I had good seats. No, not to brag. And when Rodney Hill, as he was crossing the goal line on that opening kickoff, I fired off a tweet or attempted to that said, Scott Fountain is your father. Just going to kind of let the haters know that Scott Fountain wasn't messing around today. Then I see the flag go out, and then luckily I got saved. The tweet couldn't go through because my service was bad enough. Nobody saw it to ratio me to hell and back, because it really wound up being, I would say, by far Arkansas's worst special teams outing of the year. Didn't get any solid punts of note. You had the penalty on the kickoff return. You had a weird kick. I mean, you got duped on the onside kick, which really wasn't that big of a deal, but a notable thing. Isaiah Satania I don't know what it is about Arkansas's punt return unit. They love having guys just run straight at Isaiah Satania.
Crazy.
Frankly, Satania, who muffed one in the Oklahoma State game, I thought he actually did a hell of a job navigating traffic and having dudes run in his face and catching some of those. He also deked the Louisiana Tech punt team where he like didn't call fair catch, but kind of like just people like they just ran up to him and he just catched it and just darts around for 15 yards. That was kind of the only redeeming play, but special teams, man, this was a rough outing for the special teams unit and rough day for Sky Fountain, frankly.
Yeah, there's certainly been times where criticism was warranted for him, but he catches a lot of strays that probably, maybe don't deserve to go his way. Buddy, all of them did today. I mean, for anyone who was for looking for a reason to pile on there, like where the hell is Nick Lee in the chat? Because this was his time to shine, quite frankly. But yeah, rough stuff from the special teams unit there. And we'll talk about this for a couple more minutes, and then we'll get into the chat and we'll get out of here because they beat Louisiana Tech. Yeah. But what we do need is if you guys are watching this and you're also like halfway paying attention to what's going on social media or whatever, if there is a Larry the bowling ball sighting, you got to let us know. All right, you got to let us know,
please.
Yeah, because
or if Pitman says something just outlandish and it gets cycled on Twitter where he's like, "That was the best football team we've ever played, man. That was the best win of my era."
Yeah, that's exactly right. Was there? I'd have to go back to my notes, which I actually did take some notes to see if there was anything else ridiculous that I wanted to talk about. And I have one. You got one? Okay,
I don't know if it's ridiculous, but it's just something I thought we should bring up. Actually, two things. Got some personnel updates. You ready for that?
Oh, yes.
Patrick Kudus, as expected, did not play for the Arkansas Razorbacks today. We kind of thought that was the case. We even gave Sam the benefit of the doubt Monday when he was like, I don't know, we'll see, maybe. I was like, holy shit, they're not really about to ruin his red shirt and play him. They did not. And so credit to Arkansas, credit to them having a plan and sticking to it. And Patrick Kudus will get to play next week, keep his red shirt. Everyone's happy. So again, they had to awkwardly bring Keyshawn Blackstock back to play left guard today, which did not go well, I might add.
Shout out to him for 2 holding penalties that cost Arkansas like 70 yards.
Yeah, he got a pretty hearty boo in the arena after one of those holding penalties because it took away a huge Taylon Green run, I believe. But also Addison Nichols went down and had to come out for a play because he had a weird, like, it looked like I don't know if he just had the wind knocked out of him, but he was like down and holding his chest. And I thought it was like a way more serious thing. He came right back in the next possession. But it was Brooks Edmondson who they put in at center for a play. And I was like, holy cow, you've got Blackstock out there who might not even still be on the roster. I don't even know. He's somehow out there. You got Marion Harris at right tackle. You've got Edmondson at center. And this is back when the game was not going well at all. And I really was like, holy cow, dude, this is a nightmare. Like, this is the scenario. Like, this is the doomsday. But it worked out okay. And I also wanted to shout out the 3-2-6 defense, which is backing at it. Because Arkansas, Nico Davier did not play in this game, which I don't know if that was like supposed to happen. He may have been out for months at this point. We really haven't seen him in a while. And obviously June Kaj was also out. So Arkansas had like legit even less linemen on the defensive front than they normally did. But credit to Travis Williams and the boys. Owned that high-powered Tech offense. Had them running for their lives, Curtis. But really, I thought it was a respectable effort from the defense because again, they continue to be shorthanded in the back end and up front, and they're still fighting.
Yeah, man. Louisiana Tech couldn't even throw a pass across the line of scrimmage for like 2.5 quarters. I've never seen anything like it, man. They really, really struggled. And so, yes, some credit goes to Arkansas's defense for that for sure. But my God, those dudes are just inept offensively for sure. Oh yeah, Braylon Russell didn't play. Right? Did he ever get in there?
He continues to not play. And someone asked if he was hurt. He's been hurt the last few weeks.
Even though they say he's not?
Right. They always like kind of list him as questionable, even probable on last week's injury report. I believe it was a hamstring with him. I could be wrong. And it happened right around whatever the week of the Ole Miss game was when Jaquinton Jackson was out, because we thought that was going to be his chance to really ascend to the rushing throne.
Well, it happened on that long run against Mississippi State.
Yeah. And we thought that was kind of the beginning of it because that's right when Jaquinton Jackson went down. And we thought, okay, yeah, he'll really take the reins now. Hardly played at all in that Ole Miss game. And I don't think he's played since. So looks like that injury, he's got whatever slow playing injury Jalen Braxton has, which, by the way, I want to talk about Jalen Braxton. I had a good look at him on the sideline. He didn't look like a guy who had quit the team yet.
Good. Well,
He looks like he's still on it at least. He was talking to his teammates, engaged.
Did he have both legs?
Yeah, he had both legs.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
I couldn't see if there was still a bruise on that knee though.
Was Braylon Russell there? Did you see?
I didn't see, but I also didn't look.
Okay.
I was down on the defensive sideline, basically. Like all the defensive guys were right in front of me.
I got you. Yeah, well, and hopefully, and I mean this as respectfully as it can come out of my mouth here, I hope that Braylon Russell is injured. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, I just don't understand. But it's just weird because they keep saying, "Oh yeah, we're as healthy as we." Oh yeah, he's 100%, man. He's healthy as can be. Then why is he not playing? Kind of situation. So hopefully Sam Pittman was just lying about that, like he does some injuries at times, and he's okay. And there's not.
Yeah, I would say he is definitely lying about that. And also for whoever it was in the chat that said they want to save him for a red shirt, he played in like 9 games. I don't think you can. I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah, can't do that.
I think he's just actually hurt.
All right. Let's get into the chat and see what people got going on. You guys can spark the rest of the conversation here because, I mean, we're really going to dive into the weeds of this Louisiana Tech football game. We'll start with Heartbroken Hog. He says, I honestly don't care about this game. I want to see how ready Pitt has this team for Missouri. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see that too. I just don't know how, I have no expectations for it.
Yeah, I really don't know what to expect. I will go up and down. I will convince myself they're going to beat Missouri. I will convince myself they're going to get blown out. I will go back and forth 3 or 4 times before we eat turkey next week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, is he just is he happy now because he's safe? They're getting to the bowl game. I mean, what's the difference in beating Missouri or not, like in terms of bowl?
Well, you know, we always say Arkansas likes to do exactly what they are allowed to do.
Yeah,
like this game was a prime example. Like Arkansas played as well as they needed to play. Basketball last night did that. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Sam Pittman's going to do exactly what he needs to do to keep his job, which was win this game. Mm-hmm. But then I'm wondering if it's like, because I think we agree if they lost like literally, like if the score was 77-0 against Missouri, I think we agree he would be fired, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
77-0. I'm being like a dead serious, like 680 yards of offense to 12. Like Arkansas just absolutely turns over and rolls over for him.
Probably. Like I'm not 100% sold on it, honestly.
Okay, what about 93-0? You think like what's is there a number?
Yeah, hang triple digits on them.
Yeah.
And
you break the all-time record. Like, all right, we'll probably.
Well,
I'm just wondering.
It's hard
to
win on the road in the SEC now.
My question really is though, what is the worst possible loss Arkansas could have next week that would still let Sam Pittman keep his job? Like a 49-10 type of thing?
Yeah. Probably what's going to happen is going to be enough to get him through the finish line there. I think is kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Oh man. Dalton's Motorsport says that was the least invested I've ever been in any Arkansas sporting event. I want to ask you this because you were there.
Yeah.
Looked like a pretty damn good crowd to me.
Pretty damn good. It might be a stretch. Like given the context of it, it was like probably a slight bit better. Like it was probably better than I would have guessed. Cause we talked about this the other day. We thought there'd be about like 58, 60, 62K. There was maybe 63, 64K.
You know what I heard? I heard a crowd that was engaged.
I will say, no, it was a, now in terms of performance, the crowd was pretty solid. Mm-hmm. You know, we cheered, we called them hogs. We screamed, come on, pig. Yeah. When we needed to scream, come on, pig.
That's another Arkansas Razorback.
It wasn't like I wouldn't necessarily call it a good crowd, but it was all right.
They were more engaged than they were at the basketball game last night.
Well, that's
what I'm getting at.
For sure. Hey, by the way, credit to the weather. I think the weather helped a lot. It felt perfect outside right around kickoff.
But it's duck season.
It is duck season.
Yeah.
And I think it's moose season as well.
You go out there and get you a moose. Robert Boyd says, I've been excited all year long for the Battle Line rivalry by Shelter Insurance. So glad we can turn the page from Louisiana Tech and focus on our main rival. Yeah, that's where we're at here. You know, I don't know if Drink was able to get past Mississippi State or not today. I haven't looked at that score, but you know, they take it personal this game. So Arkansas's got to match that energy. I can't even say it without.
I mean, that's a ranked Missouri team, Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, they're still fighting for their playoff lives, according to Drink. You know, 3-loss SEC teams got a chance. So, Todd Davis says, I wanted to see Malachi Singleton show out. I think a lot of people did for about the first hour of real time of that football game.
Dude, Malachi Singleton's mom fired off a tweet. Did you see that?
No, did she?
And not a crazy tweet. She tweeted a picture of his child who he had like weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she was like, so-and-so is ready to see their daddy play. And it was like midway through the second quarter. I can't remember exactly when. I remember seeing it at halftime.
Like passive aggressive kind of.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I'm not trying to like start crap. I'm just saying, like, obviously all the replies were like, yeah, screw this Taylor Green guy, you know, one of those things. I don't know if she meant to do that. Maybe she wasn't even watching the game. I don't know. But it felt like a very obvious, like, hey, the quarterback right now is sucking. Put in the boy.
That's very interesting. No, I did not see that. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. Ghislaine Maxwell says fire fountain and yeet him off of Devil's Den. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
I mean, this was bad.
You can't just fire him and like give him his severance and tell him to leave.
Yeah.
Is that not enough? You gotta murder him?
No severance for you, bro. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. Jeez. We're cutting costs any way they can, I guess.
Yeah, man. John Ham says, what are the most likely bowl games we're looking at? Birmingham. Liberty. The end.
Vegas? Or do you think they would need to beat Missouri to get Vegas?
They're not going to send Arkansas to Vegas.
I mean, you know.
It'd be sick if they did.
The NCAA basketball tournament committee did. Well, I guess they didn't send them. They had to earn their way there.
They did have to earn their way there.
Quite literally, they had to earn their way. Okay, fair enough.
And so, but you know, yeah, how much is the needle going to move if they beat Missouri? Whatever. We'll talk about this next week. Who cares? Right now, I'm thinking Liberty, Birmingham. Like, it's not going to be exciting. What else could they play their way into? Vegas, Texas Bowl? Maybe?
Probably not Music City, right?
Probably not Music City territory. Texas Bowl
sounds like it could happen.
Yeah, could maybe happen. What else might be out there? I don't know. Those are probably the main ones off the top. Gasparilla, yeah. Is that the one that's in Tampa?
I think there's two in Tampa. I think there's that and
whatever the
Reliant
used to be. Yeah. Okay. All right. Vince for me says, I enjoy winning as well, Curtis. Good take. I'm always happy with a win. Yeah, I started that right away because I just want to make sure that people heard that I said I am happy that they won the football game. But
look, we say it kind of like ironically, but the bowl practices, like making it. I mean, look, when you think back on a football season for a college football team, I feel like one of the first questions you ask is, all right, what bowl did you go to? Like, what'd you do? What was how did it end? And so, you know, anytime you get a chance to end the season on a positive note, that's cool. And I mean, like, look, those practices really are beneficial.
They really are.
They really are. Especially if that's your whole message to the fan base is, hey, we're going to run it back with the same coaching staff. We're going to, try to retain as much of the roster as we can go into next year and see what we can do. Those practices absolutely help a lot. Potentially, if you're a Malachi Singleton supporter, maybe that's your time for him to emerge. Who knows? We're just keeping you on the hook.
Yeah, exactly. We have to. It's part of the business here, Boogie Flan's Burner says Blackstock was trying to get Pitman fired with all those holding penalties. That's nasty work. But listen, we are living in an era where, college athletes are being investigated for point shaving and everything else. Maybe one of Calipari's former players, the Bradshaw kid that's at Ohio State now, or at least that's the rumor. But I know the Temple guy is under investigation there. No, Blackstock's not doing that. You
think them checks are still clearing for Blackstock?
Otherwise, he wouldn't be you think he would have won that damn game today if it wasn't?
They had to negotiate to get him to play left guard in the Louisiana Tech game.
And he won't see a snap against Missouri, man. That's crazy. SDT says, I love the players so much. I hate that it's so clear they're being held back by incompetence. I feel you on the love for the players. And in terms of incompetence, I mean, it was ugly today. What do we say about Sam Pittman all the time? What is his main duty? It's to have them organized, to make game management decisions, and to have them ready to play. And how many of those boxes did he check today?
Yeah.
Special teams wasn't ready to roll. Travis Williams had his boys going. So that's good. Bobby Petrino, I wasn't very impressed with the outcome today. They did eventually kind of figure it out, but
I will say this, and I love the players too. I'm not about the dog of the players, but I will say, how many players really do you feel like are being held back by incompetence? I understand if you think the coaching staff, so technically all of them, but it's not like it's a super talented squad. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm sitting there dude, if this coaching staff were better, Keon Stewart, that guy is going to be playing in the bigs forever. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like, especially the defense. I would honestly say the defense, like the coaching is elevating the talent in that room.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I would agree with that for sure. Chef Borar Lee, 94, hope you're good, brother. He says, how nervous were y'all in that first quarter? Not very. I don't think I was ever nervous that Arkansas was going to actually lose that game, but it was ugly. I mean, Arkansas would have had to have all the special teams snafus that it had, plus like 4 or 5 turnovers for that to really be a thing.
Yeah.
Because Louisiana Tech's offense is just so bad. Like, they could
Yeah.
not capitalize on Arkansas's mistakes. That was pretty apparent right away. Not nervous, but I was like, I couldn't have rolled my eyes further back in my head just watching that first quarter going, are we really doing this again? And the answer was yes, that they were. So
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely ugly. Sadly, I hate to say this, nervous isn't the right term.
Yeah.
One, you know, I attended school at Louisiana Tech, so you know, it'd be okay if they won. But honestly, I mean, like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Like, it absolutely went through my head. This stream would have about 3 times the audience, maybe quadruple the audience if they had lost. Like,
no doubt about it.
Went through my head.
I mean, hey, shout out to everyone who's listening right now. And we really do. Like, we really appreciate you. We love hopping on here and getting in the chat and interacting with y'all. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But just being honest, we were live at 11 o'clock last night after Arkansas basketball against Little Rock. And we had significantly more viewership than we do right now for this football game. And this is the SEC, man. It shouldn't be that way. I'm happy that it is because I'm a basketball guy, but I'm just saying that's kind of where we're at in terms of overall interest for this football program right now. And, we'll see if that matters to the people in charge. SCT says, why can't Pitman retire and still make his money? That should not be why he's not out of the building next year. I don't know, man.
Well, look, I've kind of said this all along. I feel like there is if retiring is here and being fired and being paid the full buyout is here, I feel like there is room in between. But I mean, I don't know. Let me say this about Sam Pittman's hip, because I know obviously we talk about it a lot. I thought it was messed up when they did the Senior Bowl, or not the Senior Bowl, the Senior Day services. They made him walk all the way down the field. He walked a full 100 yards, and he was kind of starting and stopping, taking a picture, walking 12 more feet, taking a picture. I was like, dude, just have have him stand somewhere, have the players come and take a picture with him, and then run off. I don't know why they made him walk, carrying his wheelbarrow around. I was like, I mean, come on. Guy's having surgery literally next week.
Yeah, for sure, man. And honestly, again, coaching issues aside, Sam Pittman's a good dude. You never want to see anybody in pain. So wish him well when he does have that procedure, and hopefully he's able to just move around and enjoy life from that standpoint in the aftermath. I did want to use this as a springboard to just say, and I know it's not what you're talking about, but a lot of people are like, oh, the bar is beating Louisiana Tech to keep your job. No, I just think coming into the season, the bar was show measured improvement, get back to the postseason. Louisiana Tech just happened to be the team you had to beat to get to bowl eligibility here. Had they beat Texas last week, we would have been saying the same thing. I think that was just predetermined. But on the flip side, losing to Louisiana Tech would have been the needle mover probably to make a change. And now I just think we're past that point.
100%. And I also would just say, we didn't set that bar. Frankly, it doesn't matter. Cause look, I think people a lot of times when we say stuff it seems like Pittman is returning, people take that as our stamp of approval. It's not even we're the ones making that decision. That just seems to be the circumstances that we are enduring as observers of the program. Again, I want that to be clear. And so, again, even if you yourself think 6-6 isn't good enough, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. But according to the man that makes the decision, I think 6-6 is good enough.
Yeah, for sure. And we can, this is a good time to get into a couple of these comments that we had started. Jim, I'm glad you guys think Pittman coming back is a good thing. Fire Sam Pittman.
Please find where we said that.
Why the FUK do y'all want Big Tit Sam back? Why, guys, aren't you sick of this shit show?
I mean, we outright called for his removal this week.
I feel like some of y'all could be posting this shit to literally any other outlet in the state, but you're doing it here, and I don't understand why. Because we've been I think we're kind of on your side in terms of we don't really like where this is headed in terms of a program. We get it. Yeah, you're exactly, Evan. That's right. And I know who you are. This is funny. No. But it's like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know why you're coming at us about it. We are just telling you the reality of the situation, which is clinching postseason eligibility today. Most likely, like very likely, saved Sam Pittman's job. Like, he will be back next year. That doesn't mean I agree with it or I like it or I'm excited about it or want to cover it or whatever. It's just true. So like there's a very big distinction to be made between the two things there. So
don't get it twisted, man. We're the only outlet that ain't got a bunch of bruises on our knees. Just gonna say that.
It's crazy. Taylor Green was egregiously horrible. What game did y'all watch?
Again, where did we I mean, I didn't use that term egregiously horrible, and I didn't even really like say he was like horrible, like bad, like that horrible.
I think we said was
good about him.
He was not ready to play. He wasn't dialed in. He missed a bunch of throws. He made bad decisions, and that he was more athletic than Louisiana Tech down the stretch.
I guess whenever I said you just got to give him 12 throws to settle in,
which was obviously satire.
Like actually being like, I mean, dude, that's just what you got to do with your SEC quarterback in November is give him 12 throws to settle in.
Right. And because I didn't fire off the tweet about benching him, and because I said, like, I mean, it's true. Like, after he led back-to-back touchdown drives, and you have a 2-score lead, unless he starts screwing up again, what I mean by that is throwing picks and allowing Louisiana Tech to get back into the football game, you're just not going to bench him. Like, you're just
right.
It would be unprecedented to make a decision like that. That's just true. Sorry if you don't like it.
Again, we're not even the ones making that decision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ghislaine Maxwell is on a heater. Says, I didn't see Broden play and we won. I didn't see Broden either. Did you?
I only saw him on special teams. I didn't see him on offense.
Okay. Interesting. Is Braylon Russell hurt? Allegedly or not? We don't know. All right. Yeah, we already hit on the generationally bad special teams play. Sam Jones said, I had a buddy who went to Louisiana Tech tell me we made them look much better than they are. He even admitted our offense was bad and we are not disciplined. All those things are true.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily disagree with any of those things. Yeah. Floyd says, assuming we keep Pitman, fair assumption, it will be interesting to see who enters the portal and how many we get out of the portal. Yes. And we will be talking about that literally every single day right after this Missouri game, because like the portal doesn't officially open until December 9th or something, but dudes are going to start announcing like, hey, I am entering it. So we're going to be on portal watch like a week from today.
You might even get some spur of the moment live shows during portal season whenever certain news breaks. And I do want to say, I've seen people kind of ask these questions a lot here lately. I don't want people to think that we're just ignoring and trying not to talk about it. But the problem is when we're having these conversations, you have to kind of let some of this play out. Because look, if Arkansas had lost this game, they literally would have had to fire Sam Pittman, and it just changes everything. Not saying that we were expecting that to happen, but I just mean like, we can make our guesses on like, hey, maybe this guy will enter, maybe this guy will enter. But really, those answers start to reveal themselves in the coming weeks, especially when it becomes more and more obvious what the direction of the program is going to be, whether they keep Pittman, whether they're able to keep Williams, keep Petrino, like all these things. And so, yeah, you just kind of have to like almost wait and see a little bit. But you don't have to wait and see that long because, like you said, December 9th, it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Ghislaine Maxwell says, Fountain deserves all the hate, bro. Grow some balls, Curtis. He has one great kicker that made his career. I just wanted to point out the irony of someone who coins their name, Ghislaine, telling me to grow balls. It's just funny to hear that. And listen, if you're looking for a glaze factor, I feel like you should just be looking at other shows across. Like it's just not a thing here. And what the hell did I
listen to this show again? Because I feel like there's like been something lost in translation. We made fun of Scott Fountain for like 4 minutes. Didn't say one good word about it.
I called it a disaster class.
We just said you shouldn't throw him off of Devil's Den. Okay, my bad. That's what it was. We were like, hey, you shouldn't murder Scott Fountain. You should just fire him. You shouldn't kill him. You should just fire him. And people were like, God, you need to grow some, man.
Jeez Louise. Samuel Brooks says, can Kudas play in the bowl game and keep his red shirt? Yes, he can.
And he will.
Recent
and he'll get to do it in his hometown of Memphis.
That's right. Coot, he's real good. It meant a lot to us. That's why we named him captain. Kingsley says, glad for a bowl, even if it ain't the one we want. Plus, don't forget about the 10 extra practices. Yeah, we touched on that for sure. Yeah. It matters.
I started this before we touched on it. I just want
to it matters, man. It is good. And honestly, hell, like, okay, if the reality of the situation now is that Sam Pittman will be retained And you hope then that the coaching staff is retained. I'm talking about T. Will and Bobby Petrino. The more practices you can get with the guys who are going to be returning next year, the better. And so if you're adding 10 plus practices on top of what you're going to have in the spring, that's all going to kind of go towards accomplishing the goal that you're looking for there. So not a bad thing at all. Sharkensaw, appreciate the super chat. Says, let's be honest, Talon, we have to read it. Talon is a garbage time god against shitty teams. But anyway, thanks for the show. Appreciate you guys.
But anyway, I mean, fair enough. We appreciate you, Sharkensaw, for real.
Now, was he a garbage time god in this game, or was he just, he couldn't, and let me be clear. A lot of this was due to his ineffectiveness, but Arkansas couldn't get a damn thing going offensively, running the football, passing the football, whatever. He just out-athleted Louisiana Tech and broke off some big runs and kind of got things going. Is that a garbage time god, or is it just, I can't function based on the specifics of my duties at my position, so I'm just going to be faster and more athletic than everybody and just make sure we win the damn game? Like
I think there was a point. Garbage time, probably not quite the term. I think there was a point. Again, it took Arkansas forever to get going offensively, but I think they realized they faced no real threat, and so once they kind of got that first score out of the way, he made some plays, and he did enough.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I just want to go ahead and go out on the record here and say Larry the bowling ball is back. He is back, and the University of Arkansas just tweeted out.
Yeah.
And Sam rolled that sucker. So there you go. He's back. That makes me happy.
Take it.
You love to see it. Okay, just a handful more here. This one is for you, for sure.
Oh, shout out to my sister Catherine.
Yeah,
they're waiting on me to go meet them at Fayetteville Taco and Tamale, which I will do right after this.
Yeah, you're just about out of here.
Yeah. If you're going to Fayetteville Taco and Tamale today, don't talk to me. I'm just kidding. But no, look forward to being there. Excited for that. Yeah.
Let me eat my skillet nachos.
I will say my nephews let me down a little bit. We were at Hogtown doing the thing earlier, and they had a little thing set up where you can throw it through the 3 targets, and they each made 1 of 4 in that. But then they had the field goal thing, kind of like Pat McAfee, 0 for 3. All 3 of my nephews.
Yeah.
Whip.
There you go. Brandon Allen starting for the Niners tomorrow at Green Bay.
If you're not betting on the 49ers tomorrow, I think he's getting 6 points in Lambeau. 6 free points to work with. If you're not betting 49ers spread, you are not a hog. You do not bleed Razorback red.
Yeah. Here we have just the most outrageous comment that we have ever received in the history of this show. Mark says, you guys are the only ones complaining about
Mark,
Sam.
For those that aren't familiar, Mark is the one that John put in timeout that one time in the chat. He's a very glass half full fan who just views it. And look, there's no shame in doing that. I mean, we all are that from time to time. He is very much a big Sam Pittman guy, and anytime we don't give Sam Pittman his props, he lets us know about it. Which respect the grind. Honestly, respect that. But saying that we are the only guys complaining about Sam Pittman, it's funny, one, because this isn't true. I mean, everybody is kind of in one way or even if they're not complaining about Sam Pittman, they're discussing his job status. It's not like a narrative we made up. But also, we're also being told that we're like sunshine pumping and glizzy guzzlers, telling everybody that it's all great, sunshine and rainbows. It can't be both. We can't be the sunshine pumpers and the doom and gloom guys at the same time. Or
we are
good at what we do and talk about what's actually going on, unlike you morons who live in fantasy land. It's like crazy. It's got to be one or the other. It can't just be they played Louisiana Tech and they didn't lose. It's got to be the best win of all time or a devastating performance. I've literally seen somebody be like putrid performance, and it wasn't that. And I've also seen Mark acting like it was a blowout. It wasn't that either. It was just a game that happened. Why can't anyone be in the middle? Good Lord.
Some of y'all are delusional, man. It's unbelievable. Like, it's just people get so caught up, or they just don't listen, or they're not smart. Like, what the hell is going on here? It's crazy, man. I just saw something. I think it was from Pooh Bear. Okay. I don't know if this is true or not because I don't have his notifications on, but Pooh Bear says Braylon Russell just tweeted out that he's not hurt and that he's perfectly fine. At least when Petrino said we didn't know our identity on offense, boy, he was spot on. If true, and he tweeted that out, I'm putting Braylon on portal alert.
He did 4 minutes ago.
Okay.
I'm not hurt. Laughing emoji. I'm perfectly fine. Is Braylon Russell watching the postgame show?
I mean, I hope he is. He should call in.
Braylon, if you are on this show, I will send you a StreamYard link via email. Tweet at me your email, and I will send you it.
Just for the record, despite whatever idiots in here in the chat will say differently, we wanted to see you touch the football today. So.
Yeah. And look, I'm just going to tell you, and look, I'm not going to be one of those people that tries to take this and extrapolates it into a sign that the program is crumbling. But this is what you would classify as not a good look. You can't have players going out there and tweeting contradictory stuff. It's just very weird. You know who's the opposite? Rashad Dubinion is the opposite of that. He tweets like he's positive tweet. He's tweeting like Mark Dubb, where he's just like, go Hogs. Even the games where he was suspended for, he's like, woo pig, great team win. Like he's just always tweeting the team stuff. Braylon Russell, this is his second weird tweet of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
You've reached your quota.
Mark says, call me a sunshine pumper, but I see what I see. Mark, I think, hey, that's fine, man. I think what you see is what most people see when they're on LSD, but that's fine.
Mark, we're cool to let you see what you see. Yeah. Let us see what we see.
Yeah, unreal.
And what we see is not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's mediocrity,
yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, fair enough.
As Sean says, Andrew, you and Curtis are great. Love the show. Appreciate you and obviously, and listen, for the love of God, like if anybody is really getting offended here as we're going back and forth with it's all in jest. Right? This is what we do. It's the banter.
We're deliriously tired just riffing after an epic bowl clinching win over Louisiana Tech.
He says, I just can't stand the mediocrity of Arkansas football. That's how a lot of people feel.
Yeah.
And it's fine to feel that way. And it's also fine for the people who are like, hey, we sucked last year and now we've made a bowl and we're showing progress. Why the hell would you fire Sam? If you feel that way, that's fine.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But for the people that are sick of it and they want more and they want to raise the bar, yeah, man, that's more of the camp that I'm in personally, but I don't hate anybody that feels a different way.
100%. I mean, look, I've said it I've given this spiel 1,000 times. Going into the year, if you would have told me they went 7-5, I'd tell you he 100% stays. If you'd have told me they go 5-7, I would tell you he 100% is fired. If you had told me he goes 6-6, it's a toss-up. That's kind of where I was at preseason. I would say it's higher than a toss-up now that he stays. But yeah, 6-6 was kind of the one where you were going to have this ambivalence. You want us to not talk about Sam Pittman's job status? They beat Missouri next weekend. I guarantee you we won't be talking about it. Other than it's very obvious that he's the coach.
Right. Which I saw another chat, and I've already lost it in the scroll here of someone saying that it's no shocker that he blamed the fans for harming recruiting with their negativity. I don't know if that's true or not. I really hope it's not. I really hope that he did not do that. I'll have to go back and listen here in a little bit. But
before we get out of here, I do want to just shout out Jeff. Jeff really is like,
I do like Jeff.
The best about like we kind of will, because Jeff comments a lot in good and bad, and so like. We'll comment. We'll touch on some that we actually talk about. We'll poke fun at him at sometimes. Like he's like an A1 commenter of like just kind of rolls the punches and doesn't get butthurt when we talk about it. It's just good discussions. That's kind of what I feel like this is supposed to be.
Yes, no, for sure. I will give Mark a final shout out because he did say basketball is going to be even better. I hope you're right, but I do appreciate that positivity.
I'll see you in Omaha, Mark. How about that? Yeah, you want me to be a sunshine pumper? Tune into the Bombastic podcast, bro. I'm about to be pumping sunshine like anybody's business.
Yeah. We're not going to get into this now. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Where'd it go? Oh, no, I lost it. Here it is. Hog Fan Tory says, what do y'all think the minimum win total in the regular season needs to be next season for Sam to keep his job? We're going to talk about it all summer. Yeah. And it's probably going to be a very similar conversation that we had last summer. It's going to piss a lot of people off. So, okay, I think we're done.
That was a good tease, Curtis.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in to every show we do from February to August.
Mark said, I enjoy your show,
even though take of all time.
Even though I disagree with you guys often.
I might make this my header on Twitter. I enjoy your show, though I disagree with you often.
I love you people. That
really is. That was a great comment.
Oh man. All right. Do you have anything else you need to get off your chest, or are you good here?
No, I'm good. I've gotten it all off my chest.
Yeah, I'm good here too. This was fun. Appreciate everybody for making it
funner than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you guys made it entertaining. You helped us out. We appreciate it. We're going to get out of here. So if you're not subscribed already, again, I said this last night on the basketball post game. If you're listening to this and chiming in, you're in on the chat and everything like that, and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you doing? Just subscribe. Do that for us. It helps out. Throw us a like. We certainly appreciate that. Check out InsideArkansas.com for the written content. And, we'll be back soon. It's been Andrew Ellis. Curtis
We'll
Williams,
be back.
Inside Arkansas, Pod of That Nature. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Whenever that is, I don't know. Goodbye.